गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवसमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतः नः ओम श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। ओम वृषभं च शनीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम् ओम तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवि वचक्षुराततम्। ओम श्रीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्रह्माय नमः। Can everybody say Hare Rama Krishna 3 times? Om Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna. So we are in the 4th Lord up to 6th house we finished. Now 4th Lord in the 7th house. Page 200 in Santanam's version. Sukhe se saptame jato bahu vidya samanvitah pitrarjita dhanatyagi sabhayam mukavad bhavet. Sukhe se saptame jato. One born with the 4th Lord in the 7th house, bahu vidya samanvitah. He has a lot of learning. He is endowed with different kinds of knowledge. Various kinds of knowledge. Pitrarjita dhanatyagi. One who has sacrificed the money earned by his father. So he basically got a lot of money from his father, but he doesn't enjoy it. He sacrificed it. He gave up money from father. Sabhayam mukavad bhavet. In an assembly of people, he'll be like a dumb person. Basically, he doesn't speak. In other words, he's not very talkative or eloquent, especially in big groups. Okay, now let us parse each of them. If the 4th Lord is in the 7th house, such a person has all kinds of knowledge. Why? Does it make any sense?
It is interaction with lot of 7th house of
okay, so there are interactions relating to knowledge. Okay, and
it is fourth
from 4. So 4th Lord is in the 4th from it, and he has Argala on it. Lord of a house having Argala on it. Not only Argala, he will actually have an aspect. It's not a full aspect, but there will be 10th aspect of the planet. So there is an Argala and a partial aspect of the 4th Lord on the 4th house. So it is conducive to 4th house. So there can be learning. Pitrarjita dhanatyagi. He has given up the money from father. Why? He has given up money he received from father.
So from 9th house, 8th Lord in 11th.
From 9th house?
8th Lord in 11th.
Okay. What does it mean?
Why 9th house?
Father is 9th house. So he's taking 9th house as the Lagna. And he's saying, taking 9th house as reference, this combination, 4th Lord in the 7th, translates to 8th Lord in the 11th.
8th Lord
from 9th.
Okay.
4th is the 8th from 9th, and so on. So, okay, so 8th Lord is in the 11th house. So,
that should give something like 8th house of inheritance or loss or sudden change affecting to his gain, and being reference from 9th, it is effective with respect to father.
Okay. So you are saying that he may actually cause the loss of father's wealth, because this planet is basically the planet who is in the 11th house of gains for father is actually the 8th Lord, showing fall and loss, etc. I mean, not loss, but a fall and a big upset. So he may actually cause an upset to father's wealth and upset the gains of the father. He may reduce the gains of the father. Right. And also, forget father's money. In general, for getting a lot of money, inheriting a lot of money, Is it conducive? Not just father. Though he said Pitrarjata Dhana, in general, this is not very conducive to inheritance. Why? Because what is the house for inheriting a lot of money? Eighth house. Eighth house shows inheriting huge amount of money from father or grandfather or grandmother. This planet is in the 12th from 8th. So of course, this planet is the 9th from the 8th house. If you take the 8th house of inheritance, this planet is key planet for it. He is the 9th lord, but he is going into the 12th house of losing or giving up. So the inheritance may be given up. He may let go an inheritance. He may not want to inherit.
He may get lot of money.
He may get lot of money because this planet is the 9th lord from the 8th house. He may inherit. Because the planet is 9th lord from the 8th house of inheritance. So he protects the inheritance. So he gives bhagya with respect to inheritance. Suddenly he is fortunate, somebody gives him a few $1 million, but he says, okay, let me spend it on this temple or something. So he may basically, or this business, he may basically spend it away. Or he may use it to rescue some bank. The next line is Sabhayam Mukavad Bhavet. In an assembly of people, he will be like a dumb man. He will not talk much in front of people. Why?
People may take like it.
Why? Fifth house is the house of following. In general, communication and oratorial skills are third house, and second house is the house of speech. These are the relevant houses. So what is wrong with fourth lord in the seventh house? So if you take the third house of communication, especially when you are communicating in front of a lot of people, third house is the important house to get your ideas across. So from the third house, how is this planet?
Second lord in
Second lord in the fifth house. So being in the fifth house is actually important. He has secondary argala on the third house, so he decides the communications. He is important for the communications. Also seventh house is the house of interactions with people. But he is the second lord from third house. Is that conducive? What does second lord from third house show? He is a marka for the communication. As far as the communications, house of communications is concerned, he is a marka.
Showing the ability of communication.
So he is not that conducive. So he may kill the communication skills of the person. In general, the lesson is, if the fourth lord is basically a marka for the third house. He just chose one example of speaking in front of people. It may be something else. It may be hearing. Third house can also show hearing. It shows a lot of other things. So you can basically look at other things. But by this line, by this phrase, he just wants to tell you to look at the fourth house as a marka from the third house. He can be bad for the brother. Because he is marka for the third house, he can cause problems to the brother. He may give death of brother and so on. Next verse is Sukhe Cherandra Bhavasthe Gruhadi Sukhavadjitah Pitro Sukham Bhavedalpam Jatah Kliba Samo Bhavet Sukhe Cherandra Bhavasthe. If the fourth lord is in the eighth house, Gruhadi Sukhavadjitah. He is devoid of comforts like good house, etc. He doesn't have those comforts. Pitro Sukham Bhaved Alpam. Pitro Sukham. The happiness from father, Bhaved Alpam, is very little. There is not much happiness from father as well. Jatah Kliba Samo Bhaved. Such a person is like a Kliba means pedi basically in Telugu. Neither male nor female. Neuter. He translated as neuter. Is there any other better word in English? Not really gay. He is neither. Okay, whatever. I never heard that word. So basically, he is not really a man or woman. The word Santanam used is neuter. In Telugu, the word is pedi. Pedi word. So, in other words, basically, he doesn't have. Usually, this word kliba, even though literally it means somebody who doesn't have a clear sex, who is basically bisexual, not in the sense it is used today, but who can be called a man as well as a woman. Basically, it can also refer to somebody who's useless, somebody who doesn't have too many abilities, who's incapable of doing anything, incapable of standing up to anybody. Eunuch. Eunuch. That is the word I was looking for. Neuter is basically, you use it as masculine, feminine, neuter, basically. Pumlinga, Napumsalinga, Strilinga. There you use the word Santanam use, but the better word is eunuch.
You pronounce it as eunuch.
Yeah, eunuch.
Something that starts
E-U-N-U-C-H, eunuch. So, Kliba basically means eunuch. That's the word I was looking for in English. Anyway, so let's pass it. Sukhese Randrabhavasthek, the fourth lord is in the 8th house. He has no happiness from house, etc. Why?
Fourth lord is 7th house, not
8th house. So fourth lord is in the 8th house. So basically, the lord of the 4th house is in a Dusthana. So, it's not really.
The one who's supposed to give comfort.
The one who's supposed to give comfort is in a Dusthana. Moreover, where is A4? A4 shows physical comforts like house, vehicles, etc. Where is A4? 12th house, right? If the 4th lord is in A8, A4 will be in the 12th house. 12th house is the house of loss. So if any Arudha is in the 12th house, the person may not have, he may be devoid of that particular Arudha. Those things will be lacking. But of course, it is also possible that he will have nice houses abroad, in a faraway place. That is also a possibility. Parasara is not giving all possibilities. He is just mentioning one possibility. Okay. Next line is Pitro Sukham Bhaved Alpam. He doesn't have much happiness from father. Why?
12th from 9th.
Yeah, the planet is in the 12th from 9th house.
But he here from 9th lord.
But he is the 8th lord in the 12th house. So it should give Viparita Rajayoga.
For father or for native?
For father.
Yeah.
But the lesson here is, as far as relationship with a person is concerned, if there is a Viparita Rajayoga with respect to that house, it doesn't mean there is a, with respect to 7th house, if you see Viparita Rajayoga, the 6th lord is in the 12th house or something, it doesn't mean he is happy with that particular relationship. It means that particular relationship, the person in that relationship has a Viparita Rajayoga. He or she may have a sudden gain. But the bottom line is, this planet, when this planet Dasha comes, being the 8th lord from 9th house, being a Dusthana from the 9th house, he will spoil your relationship with father, or not really give much happiness with respect to father. That's the bottom line. Now, Jata Kliba Samo Bhave. He is like a eunuch. Why? Fourth house is the house of Sukha, comforts, various comforts, right? And 7th house is the house of relationships, desires, etc. So, even though the sexual act is seen from the 12th house, the pleasure in bed, the sexual desire is still rooted in the 7th house. 7th house is the house of desire. So, this planet is in, even though he is the 10th lord from the 7th house, if you take 7th house of desire, he is the 10th lord of karma, action relating to that. But he is in the 2nd house of marana, 2nd house of death, from the 7th house. So he is not really conducive to lot of desires. So the person doesn't have lot of desires and motivations, etc. Lot of determination, desire, etc. So that's the bottom line. But again, it doesn't necessarily relate to sexual desire. It can relate to any desire. In general, the person may not have strong desires. But at the same time, that is not necessary. Even if the planet is in Marakasthana, he may give a lot of desires, but he may be unable to fulfill those desires. So there are several possibilities. One possibility is what Parasara said. The next verse is Sukhe se bhagya bhavasthe jata sarva. What?
Should be nice.
Should be nice. Okay, good guess. Let's see if it is nice. Sukhe se bhagya bhavasthe jata sarvajana priya deva bhakto gunimani bhavet sarva sukhanvita. So you guessed it well. Tell us how you did it. What is the magic? Well, he guessed that it will be all good results.
It has to be right because it's 4th lord and 9th.
4th lord in 9th house. Kendra Lord in a trine. Connection between a Kendra and a corner. So awesome. So all results are pretty results. So if the fourth Lord is in the 9th house, such a person is Sarvajana Priyaha. He is liked by everybody. Why is he liked by everybody? Why should he be liked by everybody? From fifth. So, how do you see other people?
From 7th,
7th house. 7th is the house of other people that your interactions. Okay? So where is he now? He is the 10th Lord from 7th house. So showing the karma of your relationships. But he is in the 3rd house from 7th house. What does 3rd house show? Initiative, communication, drive, etc. Moreover, how do you see the liking, whether other people like you or not? Where does that liking come from?
a lot of followers also.
Okay, 5th house, good. See, the thing is, pardon me?
Should be aspect of 2nd house.
Why?
Because 2nd house shows from Hora point of view. From Hora Lagna.
Okay.
So Hora Lagna basically will indicate the things that the person will like and things like that, right?
Hora Lagna is actually the resources of the person, the wealth of the person, etc. So that is a totally different ball game.
Does not indicate what he would like, for example.
You may say like that, but the thing is more than what he likes. It is basically what he, what his wealth is. It is basically the wealth of the person. Now the thing is, how do you see the liking of people? What is this liking? See, the 5th house, if you take 5th house is the house of emotions. So if you are emotionally disturbed or if you are emotionally happy, he is basically from the 5th house. 5th house is the emotional nature and emotional stability. And if you take that from the 7th house, the 5th from the 7th, that shows how emotionally people are able to connect with you. So 11th house is, that is why 11th house is also seen for friends. Even though 7th house is in general your interactions, 11th house is the house of friends. So basically, because it is the 5th from the 7th house. So it is basically the emotional, how people emotionally connect with you. The relations, your relationships, people that you interact with, how they emotionally react to you is from the 11th house. 11th house from Lagna. Now, this planet in the 9th house,
11th from 11th.
it is in the
11th house.
It is in the 11th house. It has an Argala. It has a 11th house Argala on the 11th house. So it can give, this planet, it can give good emotional rapport to other people with you, in their interactions with you. So people will basically tend to like you. Now, Deva Bhakto, he is a devotee of God. Basically he is devoted. Why? Why is he religious and devoted to God? Well, 9th house is the house of religion. Organized religion, devotion, gods, etc. are seen from the 9th house. And this planet is basically the planet of the 4th Lord, the planet of happiness. The planet who shows being happy is in the 9th house. So you are happy following religion. You are happy with the religion. You follow your religion, do your rituals. You are happy with it. So such a person will be devoted. Guni, he will have good qualities. He will have good qualities. Why? Well, 4th house is the learning of the person, the knowledge, learning, etc. and the general qualities of the person. And such a planet is in the 9th house of abilities of the person, 9th house of dharma of the person. So the person will have good principles, he will be righteous, etc. That is what we mean by mani. It's not just good qualities, but it's basically he has good principles. He is a principled person. Sarva Sukhanvita. He has all kinds of happiness. Why? Well, 4th house shows happiness, and the lord of this house, he is in a trine. He is in a trine. So he will have happiness. Moreover, from the 4th house of Sukha as Lagna, He's in an Upachaya. He's in 6th house, which is an Upachaya. And that shows growth, accumulation. So he accumulates a lot of comforts.
But being in the 6th, does he have to work hard to get it, or will he have to overcome obstacles to get it?
Well, he may be working hard to accumulate comforts. He may be always engaged in activity. But the bottom line is he will have a lot of things at his home. He will have several cars, several fridges, different kinds of fridges, latest TVs, like that basically. All these 4th house related things will be accumulated. If the Lord of any house is in a Upachaya from it, he will accumulate that thing. Now where is A4, by the way? It will be interesting to look at A4. Because earlier we said A4 was in the 12th house, and 4th Lord is in the 8th house. Now 4th Lord is in the 9th house, so A4 is in
The
second house. Second house of wealth. Second house of the person's property. So that is good. So that means he accumulates. His wealth is basically all his cars, houses, etc. are his wealth, are his second house. So that is also conducive to accumulating lot of things. So Sarva Sukhanvitaha is perfectly meaningful. Yeah, it's getting recorded so far. We'll record how much ever it records till the battery.
Light is, dim is light from here.
Yeah. I can see light. The next one is Sukhe se karma bhavasthe rajamanjo naro bhavet rasayani mahahrusto sukha bhogi jitendriyah. Sukhe se karma bhavasthe. If the 4th Lord is in the 10th house, rajamanjo naro bhavet. Rajamanjo means respected by the king. That means he has royal respect. He has royal honors. Honored by the kings. Kings means top politicians, administrators, government, etc. He is respected by the government. Rasayani means
Scientist?
Yeah, he is a scientist, especially a chemist, one who deals with chemicals. Mahahrusto means one who is always in great happiness, very happy, very cheerful. Well, if kings are respecting you, you will be cheerful. Sukhabhogi means one who enjoys his pleasures. See, earlier he said Sukha Anvitaha for the other guy. When the 4th Lord is in the 6th or 4th, which means he is accompanied by a lot of comforts. He has a lot of TVs, lot of computers, lot of fridges, etc. He may or may not be enjoying them. He has them. But like you said, because it's the 6th house, the Lord is in the 6th house from the Lagna, he is always struggling. Okay, I need to get the latest TV, but it's not available here. I have to get it imported from US, but I have to pay duty. Who will get it for me? How will I get? Basically, he is worried. He accumulates, but the thing is, he is not enjoying. This guy, the word he uses is not Sukhanvitaha. Sukha bhogi. Sukha means comfort. Bhogi means enjoyer. He's an enjoyer of the comfort.
Somebody has to be in that side so that these people can enjoy.
Right. So he's enjoying all his comforts. Whatever he has, whatever TV he has, he's sitting for a few hours and watching nice movies in it. Whatever fridge he has, he puts all kind of drinks in it and drinks them. Like that.
This person lives in the other person's house.
Not necessarily. He has them and he enjoys them. So he has nice Mercedes Benz cars, but he's not just locking them up in a garage and going in his Hyundai car every day, but he is going in that Mercedes Benz car every day, like that. Sukha bhogi jitendriya. Jitendriya means who has conquered his senses. Probably not fully, but he has some control over his senses, bottom line. Okay, now let's parse this. So why should somebody with the 4th Lord in the 10th house have be respected by the kings? 10th house is in general the house of respect in the society. It is your status in the society. So the 4th Lord, who shows how happy you are, is in that house. So you are happy with all the respect that you are getting in the society, with all that you are able to accomplish in the society. So that means you are somebody, a respected member of the society, right? And Rasayani, why should that be a chemist? I mean, could chemist be a generalization of a scientist? Somebody learned it?
4th house relates to liquids, right?
Right.
So something related in that angle.
Right. So fourth house, one of the meanings of fourth house is dealing with chemicals. So the 10th house of profession has the fourth lord.
Chemicals are any liquid, like blood is a karaka for blood is
But the chemist doesn't, it only works with liquids,
Right.
Yeah, so
Chemist doesn't work with liquids only. Chemist doesn't work only with liquids. He works with solids too. Chemist.
That's true. That's true. So that is one interpretation. Now the other interpretation is in general. Fourth house is the house of learning, knowledge in general. So fourth lord is in the 10th house. So first of all, fourth lord is in the 7th from 4th. Somebody who is into knowledge, has a desire for knowledge.
Right.
Because Lagna lord is in the 7th house. So that shows an outgoing person, if it is Lagna, but this is 4th house. So with respect to knowledge, he has a strong desire. So somebody who is pursuing knowledge all his life. Researcher basically, bottom line, right? So somebody who is very much into knowledge, and also the Lord is in the 10th house of karma. So his work has to do with knowledge. Because from the 10th house as Lagna, 7th Lord is in Lagna. So again, desire. He has a strong desire. So basically, he's somebody who is very involved in his work. Doesn't just go 9 to 5, then come home and then relax, watch TV, enjoy. No. He's somebody who who is into knowledge and his work, and they are interrelated, and he breathes his work. So he may be staying till 1 o'clock in the early morning in his lab, doing things and then coming late. So he has a strong desire and attachment to his work. So, bottom line is he's a researcher. Maybe not chemistry, maybe something else. This is just an example. But in general, this can show a researcher. Somebody who's into sciences or subjects which require that kind of dedication and strong desire, and he's into that subject very heavily. Sukha bhogi, somebody who enjoys the comforts. When he's not in his lab, he's basically at his home and fully enjoying. Why Sukha bhogi? Well, from the 4th house of comfort, this planet is in the 7th house of desire. So again, he has a strong desire for being happy, being comfortable. Moreover, where is A4? Tell me where A4 is.
A4 is in the 4th house. A4 will be in the 4th house.
A4 is in the 4th house. A4 is in the 4th house. 4th house, why? Sorry, wrong.
No, it is false from there. It will come into the first house in Lagna.
Right, exactly. You are very sharp today. So Lagna. So A4 is in Lagna. Lagna is body, the overall physical being. So if the A4 is there, that means all the comforts are physically enjoyed by the person. If it is in the 2nd house, it may just be the wealth of the person. He may have 10 cars and 10 TVs. They may just be the wealth of the person. Or 10 houses. Here the house, the car, the fridge, etc. that the person has are in Lagna. So he is physically enjoying that. So that is why he said Sukha Bhogi. Jitendriya. He has conquered his senses. Why? Why has he conquered his senses? I mean, you shouldn't take it absolutely. Take it with a pinch of salt. It is very rare for somebody to be a Jitendriya in this age. It is very difficult, being a Jitendriya. So bottom line is, he controls his senses to some extent. Why?
What house goes with the senses?
Yeah, tell me, what is the house of senses in India?
No, India. Because when you say senses, all the 1 to 5, all the 5 houses go for different senses.
Yeah.
So it is not any one particular.
Right. So the thing is, the bottom line is, it's not about senses. It's not somebody who can't feel anything. If you touch him, he can't feel you. He's not really, even though the word used is Jitendriya, he's not talking about, if you are talking in his ear, he can't hear you, or if you are in front of him, he can't see you. He's basically, when it comes to this Maya, this delusion, he is a little above it basically. He can overcome this delusion of this world appearance to some extent. That is what Jitendriya basically means. Where do you see the moha of the person with respect to the world? It's 10th house.
Moha is 7.
Moha, well, 7th house is desire. But the delusion is from the 10th house, because 10th house is your achievement in the society. And that is the seed of all your moha. I mentioned this earlier in another class. This is just my direction. This is not from any classic or rishi. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madhamatsarya. The 6 Shadripus, I said, are from the visible half of the Trimsamsa. The visible half, not the invisible half.
Visible half of the
Trimsamsa in general shows Papa Purusha, the evil person within us. So that evil person has 6 faces: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. The desire, the anger, the greed, etc. Delusion. Moha basically means being proud, the false pride, false prestige of your achievements, of your status. Pardon me?
Moha is attachment.
Attachment. But it is also, to say it in more words, it is basically being deluded by your achievements, by your status.
No, but it's not the pride.
Well, it is false pride.
If it is pride, then it will come to Mada.
Mada is not really false pride. Mada is actually wantonness. Mada means going to any extent to get what you want. You can do anything. When you want something, you must get it. That is wantonness. That is Mada. And Matsarya is basically jealousy, not having humility and being jealous of what somebody has. So I propose that if you start from the 7th house and go till 12th house, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, in that order. 7 is Kama, desire. 8 is Krodha, anger. 9th house normally is the Dharma, the religiousness. But in Trimsamsa it can show the lack of it basically. Not following your Dharma and giving to people. Lack of giving nature. So 9th house is weaknesses in 9th house show Lobha. And weaknesses in the 10th house show Moha, because they show your accomplishments, etc., which cause extra false prestige. When somebody says you are a great scientist, you feel great about it, and you are in Moha, you are in delusion. When somebody says you are a great politician or great leader who is changing the world, again that causes Moha. Somebody says you are a great astrologer, that causes Moha. Any achievement causes Moha. So 10th house is Moha. 11th house is getting what you want. So when there are weaknesses in the 11th house in Trimsamsa, they show going to any extreme to get what you want. So that is Mada. And 12th house in general shows humility, giving up, the ability to give up things. So lack of it basically shows clinging to something and being jealous of something that somebody has. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are the houses that show Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya in D30. But in general, the afflictions in the 10th house is the seed of Moha. 10th house is the seed of this false prestige that comes within you of who you are, what you did, what you accomplished, etc. Actually, that is why 10th house is the house of Indra. It is called the Indrasthana because it is your achievement. Indra basically stands for Indra within every person. He is the Lord of the Kings. He stands for your achievements and any pride that comes on account of it. And Indriyas are actually, the word is derived from Indra. So anyway, coming back to the 10th house, this planet is Marka from the 10th house. He is the 7th lord from the 10th house and he is placed in the 10th house. So when Marka is placed in Lagna, he can actually give some overcoming of that particular thing. So he can potentially show, but the thing is not necessarily. He may even show more desire for this Moha. But there is a possibility because this planet is showing Marka of the 10th house, he may show overcoming of the delusion that comes from the weakness in the 10th house. The next verse is Sukhe she labhage jato gupta roga bhayan vitah udaro gunavan data paropakarane ratah. If the 4th lord is in the 11th house, gupta roga bhayan vitah. Such a person he is accompanied by the fear of Gupta Rogas. Gupta Roga has 2 meanings. One meaning is hidden diseases that are basically tough to diagnose, diseases which are basically deep within the body, which are tough to understand. So deep and secret diseases. That is one meaning of Gupta Roga. The other is sexual diseases. STD, sexually transmitted diseases, those are also known as Gupta Rogas. So he is afraid of these Gupta Rogas. Udaro means he is generous. Gunavan means So he has good qualities. He's a virtuous person. He has good virtues. Data. Data means giver. Of course, if he is generous, he will be a giver. So Udara and Data are basically, they go together. Paropakarane Rataha. He is helpful to others. He is engaged in helping other people. Okay. Now let's pass this. Why does he have Guptarogas? What does it mean to say Guptarogas in this context? What could be plausible and why? What do you guys think? Why does he have Rogas in the first place?
Because in the 8th from 4th.
Okay. From the 4th house of Sukha, the planet is in the 8th house, so he gives some lack of peace. But why is disease to the body of the person? Why is the unhappy lack of happiness or breaking of happiness, as you said, 8th house from 4th house, coming from disease?
Disease is a...
Where is A4? Where is the Arudha of this house?
If you take 11th, the Lagna, it will be A4, 4th house is 6th house.
Sorry?
Lord in the, if you take 11th as a Lagna,
Okay, 11th as Lagna, perfect. But why are you doing it?
then he has a disease, right? The 6th
Right.
house.
The house of disease is 6th house. A4 falls in 6th.
You guys are talking two different things.
Otherwise,
Let us stick to first. Go with this. You guys are actually saying two things. You are saying from 11th house, he is the 6th lord in Lagna. That is what he is saying. We will come to that. What you are saying is the A4 is in 6th house, right? That's what you are saying. 4th lord is in the 11th house. So A4, if you count, it is in the 6th house of disease. So the house of comfort, the physical comforts of the person. A4 is not just car, house, etc., but all physical happinesses that the person pursues, which may include going to a prostitute, for example. So all happinesses that the person pursues, the tangible pursuits of happiness of the person, there is some link to the 6th house. 6th house is disease. Of course, it is possible that to get his car or to get his house, he has to go through litigation. That is a possibility. But the possibility that Parasara is suggesting here is, on account of his happiness, he is actually getting into disease. So one possibility is going to a prostitute and getting a sexually transmitted disease. Right? So that is one possibility. Now, so your angle, the 11th house, if you see, 11th house is the house of gain. The Lord is in the 6th house. So when you take the 11th house as Lagna, you are basically talking about his gains. Right?
Right, but 4th house is 6th from 11th.
Right. So 6th Lord is in the Lagna. But this is with respect to the gains of the person. So for gains, the person will have to struggle hard. To fulfill what he wants, the person will have to struggle hard. He hasn't given such a result, but that is a valid result. Perfectly valid logic. Now why is he Udaraha and Data and Paropakarane Rataha? We'll combine all the three into one reading. They are actually not really different. Udaraha means generous, Data means giver, Paropakarane Rataha means helpful to other people. He is helping other people. Why? For me?
12th house of giving things and...
From what?
12th house of giving away things.
Yeah.
So he is 12 from 12.
So?
He should not be giving things. Should not be giving, because if he is 12 from 12, then he should be divided.
Right. First of all, tell me one thing. Is he somebody who's pursuing his happiness and his own comforts all the time, or there is some problem with pursuing of comforts? Because the planet is in the 8th house from 4th house. The Lord of the 4th house is in a Dusthana from the 4th house. So it's not really somebody who's always pursuing his happiness. Of course, this is at loggerhead with what I said earlier. He may go to a prostitute and get a sexually transmitted disease, but not that he goes every day. He may go and then he may go now and then he may pick up. That is a different thing. But in general, the planet is not conducive to 4th house. Unlike the previous example where the person enjoys comfort, this person is not really an enjoyer of comfort. He is not an enjoyer of his own physical comfort, which means he is doing something else. So he may be, now if you take the 11th house is the house of friends, other people. Gains, let us leave it aside for now. Talk about other people angle. It shows friends, and also it shows the emotions of the other people basically, the emotional stability, how other people basically feel, the feelings of other people, because it is the 5th house from the 7th house as we said earlier. So the 4th lord is actually going into that. So he may actually be bothered about making other people emotionally emotionally well. So he is actually worried about keeping other people happy, etc. So he may actually compromise his own happiness. This particular person. Now, why is he virtuous though? He said Gunavan. He is virtuous. Why is he virtuous? Well, one thing is, the 4th lord is aspecting the 5th house. He is the 4th lord. If he is in the 11th house, he is aspecting the 5th house. So aspecting the 5th house means 5th house is the abilities of the person, the basic qualities and abilities of the person. So he is basically a connection between a quadrant and a trine. Any planet, in any way, if they connect a quadrant and trine, that is a good combination. So the planet who shows 4th house is the basic character of the person, and that planet is aspecting the 5th house, the abilities of the person. So basically he is somebody with some good qualities. Moreover, he has Argala and Lagna. Lagna is the basic strength of character of the person, the basic being of the person. So this planet has an influence on the basic nature of the person. So for all these reasons, he will have some good qualities. Here Gunavan doesn't necessarily mean virtuous, even though that is how Santanam translated. I will rather think, because if you want to talk about virtues, you are talking about 9th house, not 5th house. 5th house is abilities of the person. 9th house is virtues of the person. So even though he translated as virtuous, Gunavan basically means somebody who has a lot of abilities, a very capable person. But he may be using those capabilities not to make himself happy and peaceful, but he may be using those abilities to deprive himself of peace and create more work to do and help other people and make other people happy. And why is he a giver? Data. We said that he is making other people happy, he is generous, but why is he a data? Why is he generous and giver? What makes him a giver? Which house he is seen for giving? For me?
To give, it is the 12th house.
Right.
So, but that means 12th house is the second from this 11th.
Right.
So, giving is a resource for him. That means he is happy with that something that comes to him to just do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's an innovative way to look at it. Is there any other angle that you guys can think of? See, basically, 11th house is the house of accumulating. 11th house is the house of, it is an Upsaya from Lagna. It is the final Upsaya. So it's the final accumulation, getting things basically. It is the fulfillment of your desire. So from that, taking that as Lagna, taking fulfillment as Lagna, the 6th lord is in it. The 6th lord is in the 11th house. So 11th house of actually accumulating has been weakened. So he's not somebody who's actually into accumulating a lot of things. So that can make him a giver. You understand what I'm saying?
If he is not accumulating, how can he give? But if he is accumulating, he is giving things. So I mean, data, like, that is my question.
Right. What I'm trying to say is, Data, even though the word used is data, he may be a different kind of data than we have imagined and we have seen with some other combinations. That's what I'm trying to, that is the point I'm trying to drive home. The thing is, real giving has to do with 12th house. 12th house is the house of giving up what you have.
But if you see
Actually,
that
fourth lord and 12th,
For me?
A4 is aspecting 12th.
But A4 is not really, A4 doesn't have aspects. A4 is in the 7th house, 12th.
A4
Is in the 6th house. That doesn't aspect 12th house.
no, we said A4 will fall in 6th house, right?
Yeah, 6th house doesn't aspect the 12th house. Houses have different aspects. Rashi Drishti.
Or A4 is not a planet.
A4 is not a planet. Please remember that.
actually, fourth lord and third also we said data.
Right. Right. But that is different because the 4th house is various of your, 4th house shows your clothes, your abharanas, it shows so many things. It shows a lot of articles you possess, like your vehicles, your properties, real estate, all that. The Lord is in the 12th house of giving. So you give up your properties. You may have a lot of big land in the middle of London, and when Prabhupada came to see you, you may say, take it, construct a Krishna temple here in the middle of London, like George Harrison did. So that is basically a data. That is the kind of data you are talking about there, giving up your property, giving up something you want. But here, you are not really talking about 12th house, because 4th Lord in 11th is not really fortifying 12th house, but he is beginning the 11th house. 11th house is afflicted by a Dusthana Lord from it. So he is not able to accumulate. So the thing is here, this may be somebody who doesn't actually give something that he has, but he compromises with what he can get. He may be able to, for example, gain something, but he may give up on that gain. Not really, his gain may be compromised so that other people are happy. So he may be somebody who sacrifices his own gains to make other people happy, rather than somebody who's writing a check for something that he has. So that kind of generosity is possible here. Now the last house for this planet, Sukhe se vyaya bhavasthe gruhadi sukha varjitah jato duruvyasani mudha sada lasya samanvitah. Guess whether it will be a good reading or bad reading. Bad reading. Good guess. Sukhe se vyaya bhavasthe. If the 4th Lord is in the house of loss, the 12th house, gruhadi sukha varjitah. He is devoid of happiness from house, etc. Jato durvyasani mudha. Such a person, such a born person is durvyasani, has various bad habits, bad addictions. Mudha means he is fool. He's a fool. He's an idiot. Sadalasya samanvidaha. Always nicely endowed. I mean, he used the word samanvidaha, which means nicely endowed. Always nicely endowed with laziness. Well endowed with laziness. So, okay. Left. What? Param lazy? Super lazy. If you want to say it in English. Okay. So, if you have to parse this, why does he have no house, etc.? Well, the Lord is in the Lord of 4th house, who shows houses, etc. He is in the planet who shows happiness from house, etc. is in the 12th house of loss. So he may not have them. But again, I want to caution you, he may have his properties abroad. Now where is actually A4? The Lord of 4th house is in the 12th house, but where is A4? The tangible properties, tangible articles of comfort. It is in the 8th house. Again, that's not good. When Arudha of any house falls in the 8th house or any Dusthana, such articles may be cause of anxiety for the person. If A4 is in 8th house, house or car or something may be the cause of anxiety. He may not have it, or he may have it but have lot of troubles with it. It may not be good, it may not give him happiness, all these things.
Would it depend upon whether it's a benefic or a...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because,
it is just tip of the iceberg. Just he's giving you clues to think. But he's not. You have to think in his chart. You can't program this. People ask me, which button should I press to get readings in Jagannatha Hora? The bottom line is, it is difficult to write an algorithm. You can give some basic readings, but it's just entertainment. It won't really work. You have to look at what planets are there, what are the argalas, what are the aspects, where is the karaka of happiness, where is Venus, where is Moon. Without looking,
If A4 is in 8, he can get sudden.
yeah, he may get suddenly he may get a nice car. He may not buy a car, or he may be changing his car very frequently. He may have one kind of Mercedes-Benz that he bought 1 month back, but maybe a new model came. Now that's 1 month old, 2 old. Now let's buy the new Mercedes-Benz. He may be like that also. It also shows a lot of change. So it may be a lot of change with respect to car. He may be changing a lot of houses. If he's changing a lot of houses, it doesn't mean he's not happy with house. He may have $1 million house today. He may have another $1.2 million house tomorrow in another year. So many possibilities are there. But the bottom line is, all things being the same, fourth lord in the 12th house, A4 in the 8th house, probably he's not happy, but not guaranteed. Absolutely not. Now, Durvyasani. Why does he have Durvyasanas? Why does he have all these Durvyasanas?
Property of 8th house.
Pardon?
Property of 12th house, right?
Where do you see all these vyasanas from? Like cigarette smoking, all these things. You are looking at 6 because it is an enemy. That is a good way to look at it. But at the bottom line, why are you smoking? You are not smoking because you want to create an enemy. It is becoming an enemy. But why are you smoking in the first place? Pleasure. Smoking gives you some kind of happiness. Drinking gives you some kind of high, some kind of happiness to your brain, to your mind. So you do because your mind feels happiness in a particular thing. Anything, any addiction that you have.
So again, desire, right?
Pardon me?
It's part of desire. It's a desire.
Yeah, it's a desire, but it's basically your sense of pleasure. Even good vyasanas, good addictions, these are bad addictions, durvyasanas. Good addictions like, let's say, spending several hours every day chanting Krishna's name and being happy in it. If you do it a lot, it may become an addiction. You may start liking it so much, it may become an addiction. If you don't do it, you may feel bad. Or suppose you start doing a homa every day, it may become an addiction also. So those are also addictions. But again, bottom line is, why are you doing them? They're giving you some happiness. Human beings want happiness. So they see happiness in objects, actions, such as states of mind, and they try to recreate the state of mind. So, 4th house is basically 4th house. But is it from Lagna or from Moon? So there are so many other things, but let us ignore all those things. Basically, 4th house is the house of comforts and vyasanas, addictions, things that give you happiness. Why is he durvyasani? Why is he following bad things to get happiness? Well, the Lord is in the 12th house. The Lord is in a Dusthana. The Lord who shows this happiness is in a Dusthana, so he may actually resort to hidden things or normally rejected things to get pleasure. And also A4 is in the 8th house. 8th house can show various sins. So basically bottom line is he has bad addictions like cigarettes, etc. Mudaha. But the thing is, see, this is just one example. I know somebody who has 4th lord in the 6th house and Rahu in 4th house. He smokes cigarettes. So he has a durvyasana. Again, 4th lord is in another Dusthana, not 12th, but he is in the 6th house. Right? And if the 4th lord is in the 6th house, where is the Arudha of A4? Again in the same house, 8th house. And Rahu, the Karaka of this kind of addictions, he is in the 4th house. So this is not necessary. There may be cigarette smokers with other combinations, but the bottom line is drugs, cigarettes, etc. are a possibility if the 4th lord is badly placed, if the 4th house or 4th lord are associated with Saturn, Rahu, etc. and A4 is in a bad house and so on. So anyway, so he has bad addictions, he has vices. Mudaha, he is a fool. Why? What kind of fool are we talking about? Fool is a very, 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 very heavy word. It has so many meanings. All of us are fools in some way or the other. So foolishness comes in many shades. So what shade of foolishness is he referring to here? Would you guess?
No knowledge.
Okay.
Because
Fourth house is the house of knowledge.
Right.
So the house of knowledge is the lord of that house goes into the 12th house of laws. So he doesn't really go to school. He doesn't have formal education. He's deprived of education. And also A4, which is the learning, formal learning of the person, he is in the 8th house. So there are breaks in the knowledge. So basically he is fool not from the point of view of worldly wise or not. He may be worldly wise. He may be a smart person in dealing with people. We don't know. But he doesn't have formal schooling. That way he is a fool. He is unlearned basically. Unlearned is the word. Sada alasya samanvidaha. Sada alasya. So he is basically lazy. Why is he lazy? What gives laziness? What gives this laziness?
Laziness?
Yeah.
Not initiative, right? Laziness is the opposite of initiative.
Right.
Of
Right?
initiative.
Right? Why is it coming?
It is 10th from 3rd.
Okay?
So
The 3rd house is the house of initiative. 10th is the action relating to the
the
initiative.
action that you do, which
The
is
karma.
the 12th house,
But, for me,
which happens to be the 12th house.
it happens to be that, forget the Lagna now. From the 3rd house of initiative, this house is an important house, 10th house of karma.
Second
But who is there? The second lord from the 3rd house is there.
in karma, so it doesn't.
So, the karma of your initiative is affected by the marka of your initiative. One who wants to kill your initiative, not have initiative, he is told, hey, implement this initiative. He is told, 10th house is the house of, is the executive house. For any house, 10th house is the house of execution of that house. The action relating to that house. Now, that is why it is Indrasthana. 10th house is Indrasthana. So this is the Indrasthana from 3rd house of initiative. And it is containing the marka. So in general, from any house, if the 10th house from that house is having a marka from that house, it is bad. The 10th house from that house is important for getting things done and taking care of that house matters. Okay. Similarly, for example, if the 4th lord is in the 8th house, we said, from the 7th house basically, he will be Indrasthana lord in the Margasthana. It's the reverse. Now Margasthana lord is in the Indrasthana. The other way, the 4th lord in the 8th house, if you see. From the 7th house, the Indrasthana lord would be in the Margasthana. So it would be again bad for the 7th house. So that is why there were some bad readings with respect to 7th house in that particular case. Anyway. So he is basically, he may or may not be lazy, but he is not somebody endowed with great initiative. He doesn't take initiative and get things done. So he may be a procrastinator. Okay. So with that, we will end this Prashna and Parasara. We will do some charts. So we are going to look at a chart. The data is, this is a chart given by Seshu. The data is 1992, July 8, 9:54 p.m. and the place is, time zone is IST, 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT, and the place is Secunderabad, 78 degrees 30 minutes east, 17 degrees 27 minutes north. Okay.
It's Aquarius, right?
Aquarius Lagna, 13 degrees 1 minute, and Moon is in 12 degrees 39 minutes, 40 minutes. He basically is 42nd Pada in Tula.
Right.
Okay. So, let us see. So, what do we want to see, Seshu?
We did discuss this chart some, I think, 3-4 months back.
Okay.
In regard to his education, what is the best thing that he can take?
Okay. What did we say then?
Came up with a couple of things. One is because of we looked at his career and then we said what is the career that could suit him so that maybe the angle he can go.
Mm-hmm.
So we said either a combination of Mars Sun is a better thing that he can get into.
Mm-hmm.
Surgery or medical line or something, but he's into futuristic arts and things like that. So some kind of that automobile line also may not be bad.
Yeah, that is also shown by Mars, who is in the 6th house in the Samsa.
But he is changing his things, and he has a couple of different things in mind. So I looked at them. I thought they could be okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he is looking at becoming a pilot.
He wants to be a pilot now.
Pilot. And he is also having another thing. He is trying to freeze his mind as to which direction to go.
Yeah.
And he is also thinking about becoming an FBI agent.
So he is looking at FBI agent and pilot now. Okay.
So they are
too specific. Okay.
So I kind of felt being a pilot is kind of reasonable because...
Why? Why do you think so? I would have thought otherwise in this chart.
Because Mars is in one house, Ketu also owns the house. Ketu stands for height.
Yeah. In tradition, the job of a pilot is supposed to be shown by sun. Sun. Sun basically shows birds and you are basically flying, so that is the logic. But the thing is, I haven't honestly studied the charts of lot of pilots. Very few I have seen. For example, Rajiv Gandhi, he has sun in the 10th house in the Samsa. But this is what we teach in tradition. Sun shows pilots. But the thing is, you have to remember one thing. We did not have pilots until like a few decades back. So whatever came in the tradition is not really 100 years old or 1000 years old or millennia old. It is basically something coined by somebody recently. So whoever astrologer in a tradition basically saw the charts of a couple of pilots. I don't know how many pilot charts were actually studied to come up with that. But what I was taught is that sun shows pilots. And it makes sense in the only chart that I have seen of a pilot, Rajiv Gandhi. But I don't really have a strong opinion. Pilot basically, if you look from the point of view of just associate some feature of a planet with some feature of this job, then you can come up with all kinds of explanations. But that may or may not be logical. Planets basically have a functionality. If you say, for example, to give a simple example, one book basically gave a logic saying she is running Jupiter Dasha, so she became Miss Universe, not Miss World, because Jupiter stands for universe. This kind of logics are based on far-fetched interpretations based on a single word. Pilot is not really like a bird. You are not really becoming a bird. So even though sun shows a bird, the job of a pilot is not really that of a bird. So you are looking at one feature. That's not really a big deal. The big deal is you should be able to take in, a pilot should be able to take in, I'll just repeat what I said before the battery went away. So in tradition we say that the job of a pilot is shown by sun, and in the case of the only pilot that I have seen, whose chart I have seen, Rajiv Gandhi, that is actually true. He has sun in the 10th house. The reason being sun shows birds, and pilot is basically like a bird, he's flying. But the thing is it really, when we map planets to jobs, should we look at the functionality of the job and see what kind of functionality planets represent, or look at other symbolism like pilot is flying an aeroplane which is like a bird, etc. Do we look at symbolism or do we look at actual functionality of the planet? That is the question. So I will just take the tradition because I don't really have a strong opinion either way. But it does not make great sense to me to just look at some features and then map them. So if you look at the functionality, what is a pilot doing? He's a driver. The only difference between a train driver, bus driver and a pilot is it requires a lot of technical knowledge, technical training. It is a more technical job, and he should be able to take a lot of information at the same time. He has access to so much information, and he has to have quick impulses, quick instincts. He should be able to make the right judgments. So these are the qualities. So I will rather look at the qualities rather than look at the symbols. So if I do that, the planets who would be important would be who will give this kind of abilities. Mars mainly. Yeah. Mars is important for those quick instincts and the ability to take a lot of lot of input, and also, pardon me?
If you're training for pilot, they would actually give you courses related to mechanical engineering first, so that
Right.
you can understand the
Right.
dynamics.
You should have some understanding of the mechanical engineering also to be a good pilot, and that is again coming from Mars. So I will actually think that Mars is an important planet for a pilot rather than Sun. And if you look at this chart, the 6th house and 10th house, if you look at them, compare them, 10th house is strong with an exalted Venus, the 5th lord, but 6th house is also strong with Mars in own sign, and Aten is there. 6th lord in 6th and Aten is in 6th. So look, and also even though 10th house is strong with exalted Venus, he is in an inimical house, and the lord of that house, Jupiter, he is debilitated in the 8th house. So it seems likely that the career will be given by the 6th house in this case, not 10th house. 10th house results may be given briefly sometime in his life, but 6th house he is likely to give his career. So Mars is likely to define the career.
And we are saying that because Jupiter is debilitated.
Jupiter is debilitated, and also
You have
Mars is really strong. Lord of a house being in the same house is always really powerful. So and Venus, exalted planets are also strong, but if Jupiter was also strong, then maybe 10th house could have dominated. Moreover, apart from 10th house and 10th lord, A10 falls in 6th house. So Mars is connecting the 6th house with the 10th house. And of course, he has an aspect on the 10th house. He has a half aspect, 50% aspect on the 10th house. But that is secondary. A10 being in 6th house is sufficient. So based on these things,
6th being also the house of Ketu, which
Ketu stands for
height.
well, that is a secondary thing. But the bottom line is, this is a possibility. Being a pilot is a possibility. And also Venus is the Karaka for vehicles, for expensive vehicles. So 10th house contains Venus. So 10th house containing Venus could actually indicate that his career deals with expensive vehicles. So being a pilot actually is a possibility. Now, is an FBI agent a possibility? How do you see an FBI agent?
detective. No.
Yeah, detective. How do you see a detective?
Crime detective and criminal detective.
Right. How do you see detectives? What do detectives do? What kind of work is it? Yeah?
Rahu has to be involved.
Rahu and Ketu have to be involved.
Have to involve
Rahu and Ketu. Because these are undercover operations. Undercover operations are always Rahu Ketu. And the head is, we normally say,
Head we say is a Ketu.
Ketu. We say head is the Ketu and head is Rahu. Head is Rahu. Ketu is headless. So Ketu is the operative. So FBI agents who are going undercover and finding out information, they are basically shown by Ketu. Right?
And this is the house of Ketu.
And what else is required? Ketu is one possibility. What else is required?
A house that is also conducive to...
No, one second. Apart from, it's not just clandestine operation. FBI means a clandestine operation, which is as shown by Ketu, and some intelligence also. Analysis, analytical ability. You should be analyzing. There is a lot of logic and analysis. Right? Who shows logic and analysis? Buddha. Mercury. So Mercury and Ketu would be important planets for spy work. And what else is important? Depending on what kind of job, what kind of position this is, because FBI, CIA, these are all spy networks. In one kind of operation, suppose you are a CIA operator. Of course, I haven't seen any CIA operative chart. It is just speculation based on intuition, okay, and logic. So, any CIA operative, his analysis, his skill, what is required for his work is not just analysis, logic. That is secondary. Somebody else may be doing analysis and logic. On the ground CIA operative, he may merely be somebody undercover, able to do things and hide his work, and more importantly, the ability to interact with other people.
Get
data from people. Basically, the ability to gel well with people, mix with the people. Seventh house is the house of interacting with people. So seventh house has to be involved. And which planet shows communications, not communication, people skills, relationships. Because you have to cultivate relationships in the society that you have infiltrated. Moon and Venus. Moon and Venus are the planets of relationships with other people and mixing with other people. So those skills are more important in that kind of spy jobs. But if you are talking about analysis, FBI agents who are actually analyzing data and deciding what to do and then going ahead and doing it. Investigators, FBI investigators if you are talking about. Then Venus is not that important. They are not people, skilled people. Their focus is on analysis, thinking. So Mars is also important because he gives those instincts and intuition. But more importantly, Mercury is the planet. Analysis. Now, does Mercury and Ketu, do they have a role with the career? Mercury is Lagna Lord and he is aspecting the 10th house. He is exalted. He is in Nirriti Amsa. Another thing, this kind of undercover work should have Nirriti influence. Right? Nirriti is important. Without Nirriti's influence, it is impossible. Now, if you look at Mars, we talked about all this analysis, all this technical job, etc., doctor, pilot, etc. But where is this guy, Mars? He is actually Ishana. Ishana is not really conducive to those activities. It is actually religious, that kind of work. And if you look at Ketu, the 6th Lord, he is in Yamamsa. Yama is again, it is basically doing your duty. No emotions, no passion, doing your duty. If you are talking about an FBI agent or CIA operative, a headless person doing things, basically Ketu or Rahu influencing the 6th and 10th houses, showing an FBI operative or CIA operative, Yamamsa is actually makes sense. Because you are doing your job. You don't hate somebody. You go and kill somebody because that is your job. Or you go and destroy some country. You basically plant some bad rumor in a country so that there is an infighting in that country's political class, so that the country is pulled down. Whatever you do, basically you are doing impassionately as your job. So Yama Samsa makes sense. Other Amsa that makes sense is Nirriti Amsa, because that is undercover, on the edge kind of activities. And probably even illegal activities, bad activities. Those are Nirriti. Nirriti is not straightforward. Literal meaning is not straightforward. Cunning. So, Mercury and Ketu, those are in Nirriti Amsa as well as Nirriti Amsa and Yamamsa. And Mercury is aspecting the 10th house. So, there is a possibility. This is a possibility. And now, after looking at the Amsas, does pilot seem like a strong possibility? Probably not. Probably not pilot, but FBI agent is a good possibility. What dasas is he running? What dasas will he be running? At the time his career starts, he will be running Saturn dasa. Right? So his career will get started in Saturn dasa. Can Saturn give these activities? Saturn, how is Saturn? Saturn is in Amamsa, so shows some low-level job, some routine job, and doing mechanically. He is the 8th Lord and 9th Lord. The 8th Lord shows lot of changes, lot of activity basically, and he is also the Lord of A6, and he is in Yamamsa. So during Saturn Dasha, he will basically be a low-level operative. But during Mercury Dasha, how is Mercury Dasha, which comes after that, when he is like in his 40s? How is Mercury Dasha? Yeah. 37 means he will be 37 plus 8, 45 years. Mid-40s, Mercury Dasha will start. So 40s and 50s. Mid-40s and 50s will be Mercury Dasha. Mercury is in the Nirriti Amsa, undercover, that kind of work, and analyst. So at that time, until Saturn Dasha ends, suppose he takes this line, what is likely is in Saturn Dasha he will be doing all routine work, he will be on the ground operative. Shani is also in a trine with Ketu. Shani is the Lord of A6, he is in a trine with Ketu, he has Argala on the 10th house. So basically he is giving some routine work, routine mechanical work, lot of changes.
Saturn is
second Argala on the 10th house. So he can influence the career, And being the ninth lord, he can give fortune in career, he can give big contacts, but at the same time being the eighth lord, being in A8, he'll give a lot of changes, he may not be in one place, he may be...
Isn't he retrograde in debilitated sign, which indicates
It's a good combination. It's a good yoga. Debilitated planet in retrogression is always good. It's like Nijifang Raj Yoga. So he's well placed, and but he's in Yamamsa, so he's not becoming a big leader. He's basically one of the on the ground operatives. He's doing things mechanically. Worker B and Worker B. He's the eighth lord in the A8, so he has a lot of instability, a lot of different projects that he moves between projects. He moves between towns, he moves between identities, he moves between various things. So a lot of changes based on the 8th house. But in Mercury Dasha, he's in the 4th house, in Ekandra, Lagna Lord, aspecting 10th house, Nivati Amsha, with Mandi, so in our own Lagna. So he'll be a leader at that time. He'll be a big analyst. So if he really joins FPI, he's likely to be at that time, he is likely to be basically promoted at a higher level and be in some central office, not really be traveling and
the analysis
wing of the FBI. He may be in that wing in the Mercury Dasha. So this is actually not a bad line at all. Looking at the entire Dashamsha, not just one house. Looking at the entire Dashamsha, this is not a bad career choice at all. This is a better choice than pilot.
You can look at the D24 to make sure it's
What do you study to be a FPI analyst? I have no idea.
normal graduation. It must be normal graduation.
I have no idea.
They have to pass some exam too, other than regular exams.
Possibly. Currently he is being a challenge kid.
He's being a?
He's a challenge, and I see some bad dashas for him till 2009.
Yeah.
This started, I think, from last 2 years. He's struggling to make things meet. And I see something to the tune of 2009.
I see.
This is Jupiter Mercury.
Jupiter and Mercury, interesting. I'm not sure if Siddhanta Ragna is accurate, but if you look at the Rashi, just plain Rashi, Mercury is the 8th lord, first of all. 8th lord in...
I have not corrected that aspect. Maybe the time is accurate, but it's just in 1 minute.
Siddhamsa, I'm not sure if it's accurate, because if this is accurate, Lagna Lord in the 5th house. From Jupiter also, from the Dasha Lord also, is Lagna Lord in 2nd house, 10th Lord in 2nd house. Decent placement. So it shouldn't be that bad. But based on Rashi, he's the 8th Lord in the 6th house, he's in A4, 8th Lord in the A4, spoiling mental happiness. And from Jupiter, he's in the 12th house. So basically, he's 8th Lord from Lagna. From Jupiter, he's a functional male fix, 2nd and 11th Lord. He's in the 12th house. So he's actually showing some losses, some instability in life, etc. That is possible. But the thing is, that is not sufficient. If it is happening in the Rashi chart, it may be in some other area of life. It won't be relating to education. What you said is education, right? I'm just assuming, because he's a student. So if education is giving troubles, it is likely that Siddhamsa has a problem. So there is some rectification in order.
I think, considering from that point of view, moving the Lagna to Cancer makes more sense.
Cancer makes much more sense.
Because the 12th Lord happens to be who is in the 4th house. So
yeah.
That
If you take Cancer, again from Dasha Lord he is fine, Mercury is fine, but at least from Cancer, if you take Cancer as Lagna, then he is basically a functional male fig. He's a 3rd Lord. 3rd Lord in 4th is always bad for education. 3rd Lord in 4th basically tries to give loss of education, some compromise in the education, doesn't want to study. And also he happens to be in the A8. I mean now it's A9 and A8, but if you move it, it will end up being A7 and A8.
Right. Yeah.
So being in the A8, being a functional male fig, is basically a problematic planet. So 3rd Lord in the 4th house, so he wants to spoil the education. He's also 12th Lord from Lagna, not just 12th Lord from 4th house, but 12th Lord from Lagna as well. So he wants to break the education. So all these things are possible. So my suspicion is there is a correction needed. So I'll change it to the next time. So even though it's accurate, probably there is some inaccuracy. Not really accurate as thought. But the thing is, assuming that this rectification is accurate, the next Antardasha will be that of Ketu. How will be Ketu? Ketu is a natural malefic in the 6th house. Very good. Exalted. Pardon me?
But how about in case if that was not moved to the next sign but to the previous sign?
Previous sign also, Mercury is
Troubled.
2nd Lord and 5th Lord in the 6th house. That would be very good. 2nd and 5th Lord is a functional benefic. 6th Lord, even though 6 is a Dusthana, for Mercury 6 is good. And in general, 5th Lord in 6th house is basically Dhimanta Yoga. I wouldn't have suspected problems.
Because it's the 10th year, the 10th class itself what gave him the problem last 1 year. Say, the key
is it in Mercury Antardasha from 2007 January?
correct.
Yeah, then it is very likely that Mercury is a bad planet in Siddhamsa then. So Taurus and Gemini are unlikely. It could be Cancer.
Makes sense. Because now he is getting back on the track.
Okay.
So that, but still he is in Mercury Dasha, right?
Right. So that's fine. Yeah. The Antardasha, for all you know, may have been a good Antardasha. See, Jupiter Antardasha has started. And Jupiter is the 9th Lord. Pratyantardasha, I mean.
Yeah.
So based on the Pratyantardasha, there may be ups and downs. But the thing is, in general, Mercury Antardasha is a bad Antardasha. And from what you are saying, it was a bad Antardasha. And that makes sense if I take Cancer Lagna in Siddhamsa. So I'll take Cancer Lagna. So taking Cancer Lagna, if I want to look at the future, Ketu is a natural malefic in the 6th house, in exaltation, which is good for a natural malefic. Now, from the, also from Lagna, he is the 5th Lord. Right. 5th Lord is, he gives scholarship. So, 5th Lord should be good. Being in the 6th house should be good. And also, if Dhimanta Yoga 5th Lord in 6th. Moreover, for a natural malefic, 60 is absolutely awesome. One of the 3 houses where Ketu is really, he gives good results. And from Jupiter, only problem is from Jupiter. He is the 3rd Lord in 4th house. From Jupiter. So it's not perfect still. But it is better. At least from Lagna he is good. So it is better.
Actually, Bhagavan Paka is
Yeah, where is Paka? Tell me. Paka is in the 9th house. Good. 9th house? No, 10th. 8th house.
Jupiter Mercury, right? Jupiter Ketu.
Ketu is.
Jupiter Ketu, so it's falling in the 7th house, right?
8th house. Oh, sorry. He's right, 9th house. Paka will be in the 9th house. But the bottom line is, 3rd Lord in the 4th house from Dasha Lord is not really good when you're talking about education. 3rd Lord in 4th, 4th Lord in 3rd is always, it tries to push you towards stopping your education, breaking your education, loss of your education.
Which one?
3rd Lord in 4th or 4th Lord in 3rd. Here from, see, Mercury is the 3rd Lord in 4th from Lagna. Ketu is the 3rd Lord in 4th from Jupiter. So
you should take 9th house, right? That graduation after this year.
Yeah, no, not really. That is for actual graduation when he does bachelor's degree, BS or BA or whatever.
Okay.
So the thing is, it's not still perfect, but it may be a little better.
Which one?
The next Antardasha of Ketu.
Coming after that would be the college period, which is 2010.
Yeah. When does he go to college? 2010 to 2013? You know what? Let's go to Narayan Dasha of D24. Oops. Rashi Dasha, Narayan Dasha, D24.
Suffices.
Yeah. So, first 1/3 gives the results of Jupiter, the 9th Lord Jupiter, right? Second 1/3 gives the result of Pisces itself and the Arudhas in it and the house in it, etc. The sign, house, Arudha, etc. And the last 1/3 gives the result of aspects, right? Now, middle 1/3 is running right now. So, 9th house, so some fortune and guidance, good guidance, etc. is given in this dasha in education. Secondly, A6, obstacles. So that is the results being given right now. When the last 1/3 comes, the results of moon aspect. Is it a good aspect or bad aspect? It is a good aspect. Because Lagna Lord aspecting 9th house. Rahu and Ketu. Rahu's aspect is bad. 8th Lord aspecting 9th. Ketu's aspect is good. 5th Lord aspecting 9th. Jupiter's aspect. 9th Lord aspecting 9th. So out of the 4 aspects, 3 are good. So 3/4 of the time, the last 1/3, which is basically like 2 years. Out of these 2 years, there will be a particular 6-month period which is not that good. Other periods will be quite good. Okay. So hopefully after next July, when does he go to college? 2010. 10. So at that time seems reasonable based on Narayan Dasa. So hopefully he will get his act together. But there are some obstacles right now until 2009 to July because of A6.
But should he be propitiating Mercury in this case?
Right now Mercury Antardasha is running. So definitely Mercury propitiation is a good idea. He is the 8th Lord in Rashi, so in general tensions and anxieties will be there for the person. And in education also he is not a great planet, so propitiating Mercury is a good idea. Vishnu. Yeah.
Is he devotee of Vishnu?
Why did you ask?
Because in Rashika we just learned 4th Lord in 5th. He is clever, happy, loved by all.
Very good. Very good.
Devotee of Vishnu and respected character.
That Venus is with Sun and Ketu.
Alright.
But 4th planet is
Rashilo and
Rashila.
yeah. Oh.
Rashila means 4th planet is 5th house, right?
No, Venus. 4th Lord is Venus and the 5th house.
Oh, okay.
So generally, yeah. Maybe Rama Sita.
Actually, what is his liking? Which god is he attached to? Like Teja is with Kali, which god is Manu attached to?
Nothing in specific for him.
Okay, in that case, tell him to
reveal it. He doesn't reveal it. He is not like Teja, it is the other extreme.
I see. Yeah. My feeling is, once again, let me actually see. Actually, when I said Mercury and Vishnu, I am not talking about in general. Right now, in this Antardasha, praying to Vishnu will solve some of his problems, give him some direction with respect to education and so on. But in general, if you want to see his Venus, it's different. Let's actually not look at his Devata and so on, but his G20 is also very interesting. He also has a very interesting G20.
No, but G20 wise, not seen his chart, but I can say that he will be very spiritual person.
Yeah.
He will be.
He seems like a spiritual person.
And also from Rasi itself, he is a Kumbha Rasi, so I mean Kumbha Lagna. So
Yeah. So he is a philosopher.
he is a philosopher. I can see those attitudes in him.
Right. Atmakarka is Venus. He is Sun and Ketu. And in Vimshamsa, Atmakarka is exalted in the Kendra. It's an interesting chart. Seems like
The Karma Yogi.
Karma Yoga. Actually, not just Karma Yoga. See, actually, I can predict that in the Aquarius Durdasa, which is 2015 to 2023, he will make tremendous progress. He is actually a sadhaka also, not just a Karma Yogi. He will be a sadhaka. If you look at the Aquarius Durdasa from 2015 to 2023, Gemini will be the Lagna, and taking Gemini as Lagna, for me Durdasa. So Gemini will be the Lagna. The 8th Lord Saturn will be in the 8th house. So 8th house is strong. And the Lagna has Rahu Ketu axis on it. And the Lagna contains Sun, Ketu and Venus. The 12th Lord Venus is in Lagna with Ketu. So the link between 12th house and Ketu is always very good. And that is happening in Lagna. So it shows some kind of either renunciation, either external or internal renunciation. That kind of things are actually possible during that period. He will be actually not that old then. 2015 means he will be 15 plus 8, 23 years old. So from the age of 23 to 31. It's a very interesting phase actually. He is not, it is quite likely that Teja, in the case of Teja, the push was strong and he became basically, he went in the spiritual path very early. This guy may take a little time, but I won't be surprised. Actually, if at the same age as Teja, he's also talking about spiritual progress. But the thing is, right now Taurus is running. Right now I don't see really any serious sadhana. But yeah, he's also spiritual. Anyway, let us go back to what you asked. What you asked was education. So my suggestion is, for now, to focus on the education. Let him pray to Vishnu.
And really complete a degree and go to masters. I don't see the connection with the second house and the house.
Okay, let's see degree, the first degree. 9th house is Pisces. It is affected by Jupiter. So something relating to Jupiter.
Some law.
It can be so many things, law, humanity, so many things are possible with Jupiter. I'm not sure exactly what. And also, of course, Rahu, Ketu, Moon, all these are affecting. So some kind of humanity seems more likely. But law is also possible. Law is actually not a bad possibility, just based on D24, without looking at D10, etc. But bottom line is, he will do it well. A6 is there, so there will be some obstacles. But 9th Lord is affecting 9th. Even though he is in Manakarka Sthana, 9th Lord is affecting 9th. That will safeguard 9th house. So my feeling is, he will finish his bachelor's degree. Now, masters. How is masters? The second house shows masters. And the second Lord's son, he is in 8th house in an inimical house. Even though he is affecting the second house, he is quite weak. The second Lord is very, very weak.
And he is with UL.
He is with UL, right, of giving up. So I'm not sure if he will do masters. Honestly, I'm not sure.
Because it made a lot of sense to me when the Lagna was in when it was Mithun Lagna, it made a lot of sense to me.
What made a lot of
very
sense?
confident that he will do masters or whatever, but
I see.
with this it is looking very bleak.
Right. It doesn't look very strong, right? But doesn't matter. Who cares if somebody has masters or PhD? Doesn't matter. Right. And if you look at the dasas, the dasa running is, if you look at the Narayan dasa of D24, so you will go to college in Pisces dasa, and Aries dasa will come from 2011 to 2021. And how is Aries? Aries is a good house. It is actually 10th house. So the focus will be on career related education rather than accumulating degrees. Because it is the 10th house. But Aries has Argala on 9th house.
Second house.
It has second house Argala on the 9th house.
9th house.
Of bachelor degree. So bachelor degree will be nicely finished. So Aries dasa is conducive to finishing the bachelor's degree. But what about the master's degree? Aries is aspecting second house. And the Aries Lord is joining the second Lord. But they are all in the 8th house. And from
Aries is aspecting second house. What is in
Aries is aspecting Leo, right, by Rashtrishti. Right? So there is some aspect on the second house, and also Aries Lord is joining the second Lord. But the only problem is they are all in the 8th house from Lagna, and they are in Bhatakasthana from the Dasha sign, Aries. So my suspicion is he will not finish masters. There is some chance, but it is not very strong. And if we look at the Vinshotri, just for double confirmation, so bachelor degree will, actually both the degrees are in Jupiter Dasha. So in Jupiter Venus also he is going to in Jupiter Venus, right, he will be going to either Jupiter Ketu or probably Jupiter Venus. He will go to bachelor's degree. He will go to college. Jupiter Venus, right? And Jupiter Sun he will finish.
correct?
So Jupiter Venus has, if you take the 9th house as Lagna, of course Jupiter Dasha makes perfect sense for bachelor education. He is the Lord. And Venus, he is basically having Argala on it.
Right.
Venus is having Argala on the 9th house, so he can give the bachelor's education. So the influence of Jupiter and Venus, both the influences show some kind of humanities or arts, etc., rather than technical subjects. Now, the next Antardasha of Sun, which will come from 2012 to 2019, 2013, which is when he will be finishing his bachelor's education. Then he is basically in the 12th house from 9th house. So it can actually show giving up
Education after that.
giving up bachelor's education, or it can show basically finishing bachelor's education, hopefully with a degree. But after that, when the thing is, Sun is the second lord. So in his Antardasha, the possibility of continuing masters is coming up. So there is some chance of that basically taking off. But the thing is, that Sun being in the 6th house from Jupiter, being in the 8th house from Lagna, I'm not sure if he will actually give master's education.
He might start and just give up.
He may start and give up, or he may not even start.
But combining the D10 and the Siddhanta,
Yeah.
what is the line that he can choose for college? Not in the technical line.
Yeah.
Sciences, not in
My guess is technical line doesn't seem like a good bet here. Even though Rahu Ketu Argaladi is there on the 9th house, it is Jupiter influence is more dominant, and Jupiter shows law. So my feeling is if he really is keen on the FBI line, some knowledge of law may be useful. Law, international law, something like that. Law, international relationships, because Venus can show relationships. That kind of subjects, if he studies, they can actually put him in, give him a better background for doing this FBI, CIA kind of work.
rather than aeronautical engineering.
Rather than aeronautical engineering. That seems like a better bet for me, combining both of them. So, good luck to the
Thanks.
FBI agent.
Thank you. Yeah, because I was asking him to kind of read something, because most students, what they do is they start off and then go 1 year or 2 years and then switch again,
Right.
which is a common thing. So I was,
Right. It's not like in India. In India, you decide when you are maybe in 8th class or 9th grade,
yeah, but the thing
then
is,
you stick to it till the end of your life.
but with the proper
Here-
planning, you can avoid it even so.
Right. You can avoid it. That seems like a good career choice for him.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay. All the best, Andy.